Hi everyone, and welcome to the bench. Well, this week I'm going to tie you up the double humpy. This pattern works great on still waters and moving waters. Make sure you have these materials ready before you tie the fly. For the hook, we're going to use a size 10 to 12 3x long streamer. We'll tie with some UTC 140 black thread. We use some natural brown deer hair for the tail, some natural brown deer hair for the first wing, and some natural brown deer hair for the second wing. And for the body, we'll use some yellow fentex yarn. I started my fly off by putting in a base layer of thread. Now I've taken a small clump of my deer hair and I'm just going to extend this back from the hook to form a tail. And it doesn't have to be too long, probably 1/4 inch. Past the hook bend and tie it in for the tail. And allow it to flare a little bit. And one of the secrets here is when you get close to the end, do a couple of loose wraps and that'll keep it from flaring too much. I've taken another clump of deer hair, and this is going to form our body and wing. First wing, what I'm going to do is measure it back and make sure it's double the length of the tail. And then I'm going to tie it in. It's going to make a nice fat body. So tie it right back to your tail. Wrap that in nicely. And this is going to form the first wing after we tie in our fentex. I've taken a strand of my yellow fentex, and again you can use various colors. I've used orange before, black, but I find the yellow works really well. I'm going to tie it in over the deer hair we just put in, wrap it up almost halfway up the hook, and then tie in a rear end of the body, and keep it fairly thick, and then tie off. And I like to do two segments. I like to have the first body segment smaller than the second. The second time I put this in, I'll make it quite bigger. Now that the body's tied in, I'm going to take that deer hair that was sitting off the back for the first wing. I'm going to pull it forward, a couple loose wraps first, and then tie in the first wing segment and allow that to flare. And you can have different size wings depending on how much deer hair you put off the back. But I like to have my wings quite large. I've now taken another clump of my deer hair and trimmed it. This time for the front part, or the second wing, I'm going to extend it back the length of the hook and tie it in. And again, make sure you tie it in right back to the first wing. Wrap it forward. We'll take some yellow fentex, and again we'll tie this in over the deer hair we just had put on. Wrap it forward to the eyelet. And then take a few wraps of the yellow fentex to form the second part of the body. Now that the head or second segment of the body is tied in, we'll take the deer hair we had sitting off the back and we'll extend it forward. Try not to include any part of the first wing, just the longer fibers. Extend it forward on the hook and create the second wing. And again, pull it fairly tight so you do get a nice flare. Then pull your thread in front of the hook to be able to tie off. To finish the fly off, I'm taking my thread again forward towards the eyelet, and we're just going to whip finish in front of the second wing. And trim off your thread. And there it is, the finished double humpy. This fly works really well when there's calibatus adults coming off on lakes. It also really comes into its own when there's a slight chop on the water.